All right, guys, J6.4 again, and we have another quick strategy test or back test uh, versus. Okay, and this is none other than Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, and we want to take a look at its 5-year performance and how that compares to another free EA. Well, it's the same EA, the PDEA, that we're giving away for a short period of time with our very short video training. Right now, Berkshire Hathaway is right at 473, and today is November 21st, 2024. Now we're going to start back testing this or strategy testing this January 2019, and it was 205 at that particular time. Sometime in this month it was 205. And of course, it's now at 473. Now, pay attention to this date, because once I back test this thing, and I'm going to let you see the whole strategy run on it, but this particular date shows where our robot, the PDEA, actually had its worst period. So we like to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we want to see what was the performance of the robot from this date to this date, and also when it started breaking down on this date or going into DDR, which is drawdown recovery, from this date to this date as well. So let's take a look at it. The reason that I showed you from my Webull chart is because I don't have enough data on my Forex charts for the CFDs. So here we go, guys, and we're going to go ahead and look at this from apples to apples as much as we possibly can. So we're going to go with January of 19 to today, which is the 21st of November 2024. We have to put the same amount of money in there, and that is $2.05. That's where Berkshire Hathaway was at that date, or at least somewhere in that particular month. Okay, so hit this, and let's see how well it does up against Warren Buffett. And we can go ahead and watch this if you like. So one thing I do want to say is that in my long-term portfolio and the portfolio of my grandchildren, I do have Berkshire Hathaway. This is not a negative indictment on that at all. All I'm saying is I'm not putting my speculative or my high risk funds, which is a very small part of the portfolios, into Berkshire Hathaway, because I know he's a long-term conservative, very risk-adverse trader. But I just want to know, if I were to buy one share, this is what this is showing, one share in January. Wow, that was hard. In January of 2019, that one share for 205 bucks. What would that same investment give me with the PDEA? So let's take a look. Right now we're up to $1,200, so we know that's over the 400 and some odd. But there's always good, bad, and ugly, and I'm not going to make you suffer through it. So we'll be right back at the end. Okay, we're not quite finished yet, but there's something I want to show you. As far as any sort of algorithm in long term, you're always going to have DDR periods, which is your drawdown and recovery period. But it had gotten as high as over 7,600, and as you can see, we had a pullback right here. And this is from the 205, guys. It's not finished yet, and then it recovered up to over 8,000. Again, it's not finished, but we'll see exactly what it brings us. Let's go to the, okay, no, that's it. So looking at the report, we started with 204, and the net profit was 83.66. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, of course, it still had a 41% drawdown, and then it recovered from there. Now remember what we say is a drawdown period. So this was the drawdown period. It went down 40%. So if we had $1,000 right here, it would have went down to $600 before before it recovers. So that's the good, the bad, the ugly. So let's take a look at comparison to Warren. So here we go, Berkshire Hathaway 205, and now we're up to over 8,800. Let's just say 8,800 just for the safe side, to be on the safe side. So here we go here, guys, the PD algo from January 2019 205 to November 2024, $8,500 over $8,500, and that's a 4,000% gain. So let's take a look at probabilities, possibilities, and probabilities again. Okay, so we know what's possible, and let's look at the graph. But right here, again, what determines your probability is how you're going to manage this trade and manage your risk and money management on this. So what if, let's try to get as close to apples as we can. What if we put money here with the robot? Now, I think the stock was right at 311 during this period, and we're going to run the robot with those same numbers. So what would that look like? January of, excuse me guys, that was my phone, January of 23. So let's go into the settings, and we're going to change that. That's why strategy testing, at least it gives you some indication of what you need to do and how you need to money manage to today. And then of course we're going to go ahead and change that out to 311, because that's the price of Berkshire Hathaway at that time. And just to make sure, so you know I'm not BSing, yeah, January of 23, 311. Okay, so we're still keeping it in kosher there, and we're going to run that to just see based on this, what would it look like? Okay, and let's get it started now. We'll be back. Okay guys, now this is where it started with at least the drawdown with the robot. So we have a little bit different story. As you can see right here, we started this with 311, and look at this drawdown. That's a lot of drawdown, and it went down to almost from what, 311 to like 90 bucks, something like that. And the reporters tell us exactly. Look at that, 71% drawdown. So in other words, if I would have put, let's just say $1,000 in there, we would see that erode all the way down to $300. Or if I put $100 in there, that would erode all the way down to $30 before it reversed and started its recovery phase on there. So that's ugly. That's ugly. So I don't know what would have happened during that period. So here we go. So it still recovers, and it recovers to a pretty nice a little profit. And this is the exact same day. This is January of 23 to November of 24. So that's the good, the bad, the ugly of it, guys. I think I wrote it all down here. So here we go. And Berkshire Hathaway from January 23, from 311, that was the price, to 474. That's a 51%. And the PDEA from, oh, let me put this down. Correct that really quick. This is from January 23. I need to put this in here too, and we're going to double check that just so you won't think I'm BSing you, just to make sure. And it made it to 471 with a 51% gain, so that's not that bad. But the ugly part of it was this drawdown, which was pretty bad. And let's take a look and make sure that we had those settings right. Yep. Here we go, January of 23, and let's make sure we have the money right. Yep, 311. There we go. All right, guys, go out there and make some real money. Just want to give you a brief comparison, and this was the PDEA against the great, the legend, Warren Buffett. Go out there and make some real money. Later.